Israel-Gaza Iran War News Live Update. Gaza strikes kill as Israel vows to talks. Saturday saw Israel launch devastating airstrikes in Gaza and confront Hamas fighters, while to the north it fought Hezbollah insurgents over the Lebanese border. Israel announced on Friday that it would send a delegation next week to continue discussions with Qatari mediators to end the war, which will enter its 10th month on Sunday. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesman stated Hamas still had gaps on a ceasefire and hostage release. David Barnea, chief of Israel's Mossad spy organization, led a group to meetings with mediators in Doha. Israeli negotiators will continue negotiations in Doha next week. The official stated parties still disagree. Since November's one-week truce that liberated 80 Israeli hostages in exchange for 240 Palestinian prisoners, there has been no peace. Israel's military said it had undertaken operations in Shujaa, Deir al-Balah, and Rafah on Saturday, continuing the battle. Fighting has resumed in Shujaa, which the military had declared Hamas-free. The Hamas-run health ministry claimed 87 deaths in the preceding 48 hours, and paramedics reported 10 dead in an air attack on a house in Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza on Saturday. The Hamas press office and paramedics reported 4 local media journalists killed in overnight strikes, and UNRWA reported 2 deaths. UNRWA, which organized much of Gaza's supplies, has lost 194 employees in the war. Ball in Israel's court. The U.S., which has mediated discussions between Qatar and Egypt, has called for a pretty considerable opening for both parties. In May, U.S. President Joe Biden announced an Israeli truce plan. Palestinian militants freed hostages, Israelis left Gaza population centers, and a 6-week truce. After talks stalled, a U.S. source said Thursday that Hamas' fresh proposal moves the process forward and may provide the basis for sealing the deal. Senior Hamas spokesman Osama Hamdan told AFP that mediators had reported new Hamas ideas to the American side, which accepted them and handed them on to Israel. Right now, Israel is in charge. Hamas's unprecedented October 7 strike on southern Israel killed 1,195 people, largely civilians, according to an AFP assessment based on Israeli numbers. Militants took 116 hostages, 42 of whom the military believes are killed in Gaza. The Hamas-ruled Gaza Health Ministry reported 38,098 civilian deaths during Israel's military onslaught. UN agencies believe the war has displaced 90% of Gaza's population, damaged much of its housing and infrastructure, and left around 500,000 people facing catastrophic famine. Netanyahu and his far-right coalition partners fiercely oppose Hamas's demand for a permanent ceasefire, which has stalled a truce accord. The seasoned hawk demands the prisoners' release, but maintains the war will not stop until Israel destroys Hamas's ability to fight or govern. Airstrikes and sirens. Since the Gaza war began, Israel and Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah movement have exchanged fire practically daily, but it has grown in the past month. That has fueled concerns of a massive conflict between the bitter adversaries that might involve Iran and other states. The military reported downing a suspicious aerial target and 2 hostile aircraft launched from Lebanon in northern Israel on Saturday morning. The military said it bombed a number of Hezbollah terror targets in southern Lebanon near the border overnight. U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Antony Blinken, think a Gaza ceasefire will reduce bloodshed on the Israel-Lebanon border.